Are you a serious Disneyland fan, or are you just curious about how much you know about Disneyland and its history? Well, you're about to find out, and maybe even learn something new. So grab a friend and get ready to take my Disneyland History quiz. So let's get started. Let's start with an easy question first, and then we'll go from there. Number 1, when did Disneyland open? If you said July 17th, 1955, you are correct, which makes this July Disneyland's 70th anniversary, and even though its first day had plenty of hiccups, it has grown and evolved and continues to be one of the most popular vacation destinations in the world. Moving on to number 2, how many lands did Disneyland have on opening day? If you said 5, you're right. They had Main Street USA, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Frontierland, and Adventureland. And even though these 5 lands still exist, they've all seen plenty of changes throughout the years. Number 3, where was the original location of the Teacups ride? Originally, you could find the teacups behind King Arthur's carousel, which was tucked right behind the castle. These days, you'll find the carousel where the teacups used to be, and the Mad Hatter Tea Party is next to the Alice in Wonderland ride. Number 4, put these rides in order of when they were added to the park from oldest to newest. First, we have Autopia, since it was an opening day attraction. Then Alice in Wonderland was added just a year after opening. Then we jump to 1969 when 999 Happy Haunts and Grim Grinning Ghosts appeared in New Orleans Square. Next is the 80s wonder that blew park goers away in 1987. Yes, it's Star Tours. In 1995, another George Lucas collab gave us the Indiana Jones ride.
It's more than a ride. It's real. Now your fears have a name. The Indiana Jones Adventure, new at Disneyland.
It is your destiny.
although the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh seems like a dark ride that's always been in Disneyland, it only joined the park in 2003. Number 5, what kind of food did the pirate ship restaurant serve? Since Disneyland was highly dependent on sponsorships back in the day, this pirate-themed eatery was brought to you by Chicken of the Sea, which meant nearly everything served there had tuna fish in it. We're talking tuna salad, a tuna boat, tuna pot pie, tuna burger, tuna sandwich, and a fruit tart. Speaking of sponsorships, what popular chip was invented at Disneyland? If your answer is Doritos, you are right. Frito-Lay sponsored the Casa de Fritos restaurant in Frontierland, and the story goes that the chef had a surplus of tortillas and decided to cut them and fry them, knowing that this was a recipe that was done often with Mexican food. Later, taco seasonings were added to the chips, starting the Doritos we know and love today, but had it not been such a popular item in Disneyland, it would have never found its way into the grocery stores today. Another item that could be found at the Casa de Fritos was the Frito chili pie, a famous southwestern dish comprised of Fritos, chili, and cheese, and usually topped with some raw onion or jalapenos. Eventually, this restaurant turned into Casa Mexicana, hosted by Lowry's, but nowadays the location is known as Rancho del Zocalo. Number 7, what Disneyland attractions were imported from the World's Fair in New York City? The first one would be Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. The idea to basically rent out his Imagineers to different companies for the World's Fair was genius on Walt's part. This meant that other companies paid his Imagineers to develop new technologies and rides that would eventually be in and benefit Disneyland. Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln developed new cutting-edge audio animatronic technologies that stunned audiences and paved the way for later rides like Pirates of the Caribbean. Currently, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is closed as they add a Walt Disney animatronic to it to celebrate Disneyland's 70th anniversary. The other was It's a Small World. This attraction was made for UNICEF to celebrate children from around the world. It's my personal belief that this attraction wouldn't be what it is without the brilliant female designers that had their hands on it, like Alice Davis, who designed and crafted hundreds of tiny and detailed costumes for all of the dolls. And Mary Blair, who used her unique way with colors and shape to create the whimsical look of this sweet ride. I could make an entire video on Mary Blair. I love her designs and her style. Many artists today are still influenced by her styles and techniques. Speaking of love, don't forget to show me some love if you're liking this video so far. Or you can maybe even subscribe to my channel. Both really helps me out. Number 8, true or false, Disneyland used to have a dance club. If you said true, it may be because you got down to the sounds of the 80s at Videopolis. This dance club was only around from 1985 to 1989 in a response to dance club and music video culture, trying to keep the teens and young adults coming to the park. With 70 video monitors, music and dancing, and snacks, this attraction was a happening but very much out-of-place addition to the park. And it was closed down due to increasing gang-related problems happening inside of it. And man, do I love any and all footage from this place.
Get him, Chrissy! And Craig!
Moving into the 90s, what rides were original to Toontown when it opened in 1993? This one is kind of tricky. You may have said Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, but that didn't open until 1994. The only two actual rides that Toontown had at its opening was the Gadget Go Coaster. They also had the Jolly Trolley, a silly little means of conveyance that people would narrowly miss getting hit by while wandering about Toontown. I still remember almost getting hit by this thing several times, which is one of the reasons why it was closed down by 2003. Now for an easy one, name this parade. And you know what? I'm going to let an old advertisement answer this question.
And it feeds on electricity. When you see it, you'll never forget it. It's the Main Street Electrical Parade, part of the magic of the Walt Disney Company. Weekends at Disneyland.
Yes, it's the Main Street Electrical Parade, which debuted in 1972 and was very cutting edge at the time. It has left and come back many times since then, and is one of Disneyland's most popular parades. Number 11, put Disneyland's Mighty Mountains in order of when they were added to the park. First, we have the Matterhorn bobsleds, which opened June 14th, 1959. Then it's Space Mountain, which opened on May 27th, 1977. Next was Thunder Mountain Railroad, which opened on September 2nd, 1979. And finally, Splash Mountain opened on July 17th, 1989.
The only way out is a long way down. Now open Splash Mountain at Disneyland.
And with its opening came an amazing amount of promotional dances and raps. Of course, Splash Mountain is now known as Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which I know is still a sore subject for some, but the ride experience is still the same. Speaking of Thunder Mountain, what national park inspired Thunder Mountain's design? The answer is Bryce Canyon National Park. Found in southern Utah, the hoodoo rock structures of Bryce Canyon were very much the inspiration for Thunder Mountain. Now, I've been to Bryce Canyon, and if you ever get the opportunity to go there, do it. It's truly otherworldly there and breathtaking with some really fun, some of my favorite hikes I've ever been on. Once you've been there, you can really tell that the Imagineers did a great job of recreating this location. Number 13 were churros, an original Disneyland treat. No, they weren't. Although they are a Disneyland classic these days, the churro wasn't part of the parks until 1985, when Jim Lowen came across a churro cart in Long Beach and decided it would be a great addition, and boy was he right. Now there's a churro cart in nearly every land, and my family could not imagine a day at Disneyland without one. Number 14, when did Star Wars Galaxy's Edge open? If you said May 31st, 2019, that's correct. Now, Galaxy's Edge opened to mixed reviews when it first opened. I, for one, though, love this area. The design and the theming goes far beyond anything else I've ever seen, and the addition of the Rise of the Resistance ride has made the trip to the far ends of the park especially worth it for me. And if you don't take time to check out all of the different gift shops and all the little nooks and crannies in the land, noticing all the details, you really aren't getting the full experience of this place. And finally, number 15, what rides tracks still exist in Tomorrowland even though it no longer functions? Of course, it's the People Mover. The People Mover was another ride dedicated to Walt's love of new and modern means of transportation. But the People Mover eventually closed down in 1995 since the ride was expensive to maintain and Imagineers thought it wasn't modern enough for the Tomorrowland of the 90s. Then, in 1998, Rocket Rods was retrofitted to use the People Mover tracks, but the high speeds damaged the tracks and constant technical problems closed the Rocket Rods by 2000. Due to it being very difficult and expensive to remove the tracks, they are simply maintained on a basic level and serve as a reminder of yesterday as you walk around Tomorrowland. So how did you do? Did you get stumped at all, or are you a total Disneyland nerd like myself? And hey, if you liked taking this quiz today, you might like the other quiz I've made. Thanks for watching and take care.